Hello, 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 hello. I'm so glad to be with you today because what we're talking about today is just going to be so beautiful. Some of you know that I just went on a trip to Senegal, West Africa, and I learned so many beautiful lessons in that place that I had to just take a moment and reflect. And I wanted to come back and share those lessons with you because I think that the lessons that I learned, you can absolutely learn from them as well. So I'm going to share those lessons with you right after this. All right. Okay. So, what did I learn? First of all, it was one of the most beautiful experiences that I've had. I've been fortunate in my life to visit the motherland several times. In undergrad, I went to Ghana, and that was my first experience. And Ghana has just such a beautiful, sacred place in my heart. And then after that, I used to do missions work in Kenya. Shout out to all my Kenyan friends. And I love you all so dearly, and I missed you so very much. And so this time I had the opportunity to go to Senegal, and I'm telling you, I can't I can't always describe the feeling. And if you've never been to an African country before, um, hopefully this is your call to go ahead and do that because I learned so many beautiful lessons while I was there. And these are lessons that, some of them I've already known. But some of them were just sweet, and it was so good to kind of like hear them and just to consume them and everything. So I'm excited. So I want to jump right in because I really want us to dive in and talk about it. So the first one is that joy is a choice. I know y'all have heard me say this so many times. I have the slogan, create your own happiness, um, right behind me. And it is an absolute choice. And I know, you know, as I coach people all the time, I think that people think that slogan create your own happiness and joy is a choice is just super cliche, but it is so very true. I truly believe that from the people that I saw choosing joy, um from just my ability to choose joy in the moment, it made a huge difference. And let me tell you why. um, I went to Senegal when the government was still shut down. So there was a lot of delays, and I think the government was starting to try to open back up. But y'all remember, there were a whole bunch of delays in the airport, and they were reducing air traffic control by 10% in all the major cities. And I live in Atlanta. So it's a major city. And I was super nervous that my flight was going to be delayed. And I'm like, please, no, 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 no. I don't want it to be delayed. Plus, I was traveling on my birthday. So, yay, happy birthday to me. Scorpio season. And so I was traveling on my birthday. And so I got to the airport very early because, you saw on the news all of these delays, all of these things that were happening, and I didn't want that to happen, to me. I didn't want anything to stop me from getting to Senegal. So I get there, and I was able to get on a work call, and I'm on this work call, and I see a notification comes through and says that your flight is going to be delayed. And because your flight is going to be delayed, it's going to cause you to miss your connector in JFK, which will cause you to not make it to Senegal or Dakar at your regularly scheduled time. And I was like, no, 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 this can't happen. So I jumped on the phone with Beloved Delta, and long and behold, they had one seat on a flight that was leaving at the moment. The plane was about to board. And so I got off my work call and packed my things up and sprinted, to the actual door, for the boarding, right? The gate. And I got there in plenty enough time, got on and got to JFK with all the time, was able to like relax and get on the flight to the car with no problems. I mean, no problems at all. Well, guess what didn't make it on the plane? My bags. So even though I was on the original flight to Dakar, my bags didn't make it because I guess I got on an earlier flight. There was something lost in translation. So I get to the car and I'm waiting on my bags, and they never come. They never come. And I'm like, oh my God. Now I have carry on, but I didn't put any, you know, extra clothes or anything in my carry on. Note to self, always put a pair of extra clothes in your carry on, even if you don't think anything will ever happen. And I should know better. But I did not put any extra clothes because I was like, this bag is going to be empty because I'm going to fill it up with all the things I'm going to bring back from Senegal. So I get there, I have no clothes, I have no nothing. I have the clothes that I have on my back, and that is it. Now, here's where choosing joy is so important. I could have allowed that experience to mess up my entire trip. And I know people who would have allowed that experience to mess up their entire trip. But I literally chose not to allow that experience to mess up the experience that I could have in this beautiful country, right? And so when I got to our resort, it was on a reserve. Oh my God, it was so beautiful. It's called La Reserve. And it was beautiful, and it had all these animals walking around, zebras. I mean, it was just simply gorgeous. The hostess gave me this beautiful dress. I was walking around like I'm an African queen. I was still celebrating my birthday because this was the next day. And then, who I was with, the team, they ended up giving me the birthday suite. And then when I tell you this suite was luxury, it was amazing. All that could have been dampered by the fact that I lost my luggage. I lost my luggage. This also did something else for me. It gave me an opportunity to be poured into. Y'all know, if you know me, you know that I'm a motivator. My goal is to help women succeed. I'm going to motivate you until the day I die because that's what I was placed on earth to do. Right? I want to see you win. I want to see you succeed. So when you are someone like me, you're always pouring out. It's hard to receive, but this was an opportunity for me to receive and let other people care for me in a way that I would care for them. And it was beautiful. It was so very beautiful. So when I tell you that joy is a choice, you can literally choose whether to be upset about a thing or to not let it affect your day, your week. And I know it's a skill. It's a skill, y'all. It's a skill, but you can learn the skill, right? You can learn the skill. One of the things that I did in that situation was I said, okay, can I get Can I get more clothes? Yeah, I can get more clothes. As a matter of fact, it gives me a reason to go shopping right away. Um, can I get more clothes? Yes. Would I have liked the clothes that I had? Sure. But can I get more clothes? Was I already going to buy more clothes or more things to wear while I was there? Absolutely. So why get upset? Right? If you have the means, if you have the things, you have to, ultimately choose joy. So that's one of the first lessons that I learned right when I got there. The second lesson is to live fully in the moment. Some of us really need to do this. I mean, I would venture to say most of us need to do this. Most of us need to learn how to live fully in the moment that is given to us. Most of us, we go day by day from meeting to meeting. I don't know about you, but I have so many meetings, so many things going on in life where I just go meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting. And we never stop to really be fully in the moment. And this was my opportunity to be fully in the moment. And because I was fully in the moment, I experienced so many beautiful things, like just breathing the air, right? Breathing the air that my ancestors breathed. Presence is power, right? Senegal allowed me to truly slow down, and it invited me to just be. When was the last time you slowed down and you just was? I remember sitting um and standing on the beach just watching the waves, like just the expansiveness of the water, watching the sunset and the sunrise, which while I'm at home, I never get to do, or I never take time to do. Tasting the food, all of the flavors that the food had, it was so delicious, right? Savoring the food, taking deep breaths. Like I would get up in the morning and I would go out on my terrace and I would just sit in a chair and I just breathe in the air and I just was present, listening to the sounds of the nature. It allowed me the opportunity to just slow down and be fully present. And let me tell you, peace came to me, right? The peace from all of the hustle, it came to me in those spaces because I allowed it to do so. Living in the moment is everything. It truly is. How we reconnect with ourselves allows us to avoid burnout and the experiences of the fullness of life. And so I want to invite you to get still, to be fully present in the moments of your life. These are the moments that matter. These are the moments that matter. These are the moments that you'll be able to think about later on and truly say, wow, that was a beautiful experience. And it's the difference between a beautiful experience and an experience that you just gloss over, right? Like, I mean, it is the difference. A lot of times we always think about, oh, when I do this, I have arrived. When I do this, I've arrived. Well, there's a lot of experience that you gloss over where you've arrived, but instead you gloss over that experience. So it taught me to live more fully in the moment. The third thing it taught me was that our ancestors were and still are absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Ah, man. I went, while I was there, our group, we went to Goree Island. And Goree Island is one of the westernmost, African countries where the Atlantic slave trade used to come through. And, going on a tour of the House of Slaves was, I don't know, it's just incomprehensible that people would treat other people the way that they have. And the problem that I have right now, even with our country, is that we still treat people in these horrible ways. It might not be slavery, but when we talk about, doing away with DE&I, what are you saying? What are you saying? Are you saying that you don't want to treat people with respect and dignity because of their differences? It's another topic. I mean, it's the same topic, but you know, that's kind of where we're at in our country. But at Glory Island is where some of all this began. They would have these dungeons. Well, I call them dungeons because they didn't really have any light. And they had 20 to 30 plus people in these very small dungeons with barely any light. And they separated the men, women, and children. So none of them spoke the same language. And they made sure they got to 60 kilos in weight. And if they didn't, they would do away with them. You understand what I mean? And if they did get to 60 kilos and they made it, they would sell them and they would walk through the door of no return. And because the conditions were deplorable, because in these dungeons, they stayed 23 out of a 24-hour day. Imagine being locked in your bathroom at home with 15 other people where you could only come out of your bathroom for 1 hour a day. And I say bathroom because if you had to go, you had to go. So, what do you think that means? It's just unimaginable. It's unimaginable. And so, standing at the door of no return, it just has so much significance to see what my ancestors went through and to even feel what we go through today and just to know that we're so strong. We're so strong. They were never meant to make it. And look at us. Look at how far we've come, but we still have far to go. But look at us. They couldn't be broken. And they won't be broken now. The amount of resilience and courage and brilliance you had to go through what they went through, and we are the result of that. And they survived. They survived. So Senegal really reminded me that greatness is in our bones and resilience runs in our blood. So every time I think about like having hard times in my life, I can just go back to thinking about what they went through, my ancestors went through, so that I may live, so that I may be able to spread light in a world that is so dark right now. And I choose to continue to spread light, and I hope that you do as well because we need it. We absolutely need it. Okay, so the fourth lesson I learned, and I have six. The fourth lesson that I learned is that you have to be bold, courageous, and daring. Bold, courageous, and daring. We had the opportunity to sit down with some very, very prominent women in Senegal, like the first attorney general. We sat down with an artist who makes beautiful art, lawyers, a one of the first notaries. I mean, it was dynamic. It was us and them, like the women of Africa, these African American women sitting around this big circle dialoguing, and we didn't all speak the same language. A lot of them spoke French, we spoke English, we had a translator, but when I tell you the conversation was amazing, no amount of of, language barriers stopped us from connecting on a deep soul level. And we asked, them what they would tell young women today if they had a chance to just, share any message. And it was be bold, be courageous, be daring. And I'm like, wow, that message permeates throughout everything. I've been speaking that message for a long time. Get Courageous Now, my book. We are connected in so many ways. It is, I mean, it was amazing to me to hear them to say, be bold, be courageous, be daring. I really felt like their wisdom truly reminded me that shrinking ourselves is a disservice to the generations that came before us. Come on, Dr. Kiki. Why shrink yourself? Your ancestors, everybody who's come before you, has given you the pathway to move forward and be amazing. Senegal truly encouraged me to stand a little bit taller, to take more risk, and to walk in my purpose with fearlessness. And I thought I was doing it already, but I came back with a renewed sense of purpose with what I was, placed on this earth to do, which is help women succeed. And I'm going to do that by all means. And so this message is for you, right? Be bold, be courageous, be daring. Whatever it is that you want to do, don't stop until you get there because the world absolutely needs what you have. And that's a fact. That is a fact. So if you ever need the permission, I'm not giving it to you, but you already got it. Move forward. Okay. So, fifth one is, man, community is wealth. Oh my God, there is so much wealth in community. If Senegal taught me anything, it's that wealth isn't just about money. It's not about what you have, it's about who you have. No, it's about who you have. The people that I met um, lived with open hearts and helping hands. I mean, even the people, even the women, the men in Senegal, they were so loving and caring and willing and open to share and to give. It was so beautiful. But even the women who I went on this trip with, right? Not all of us knew each other in the beginning, but we came back sisters. We came back sisters. Being connected to those women on this trip and meeting the women in Senegal reminded me that success is truly rooted in connection. It's rooted in support. It's rooted in community. And when we rise higher, we rise together. And I've always had, the mindset that there is enough abundance to go around for all of us, and that's not going to change. And I truly believe that the more community we are in, the more we actually come together, the better off we're going to be. I made some, I know, lifelong connections while I was in Senegal, and it mattered and it just makes so much sense. Connection is priceless. So I'm going to say to you, I know that some people are lone soldiers, what you call yourself, right? But we are connected beings. Get into a community that loves you and supports you. That is how we make it through. And then lastly, my final big lesson. I learned so many more, but I had to distill it down to these right here. But was to find spaces where you can be truly authentic, fully authentic. I think that there's a lot of talk around like psychological safety and being in a place where you can be fully and authentically you, especially when it comes to work. And I think there is a version of us where we can be authentic at work, meaning we can share, we can share without fear that we're going to get fired or be reprimanded and stuff like that. I think that there is a place for that in work, right? In our workplace. And I really, hope that most organizations can get to that place because it's a beautiful place to be. But outside of that, I truly believe that we have to find community and connection where you can truly be yourself. You can, you can just be who you are, no mask, no nothing. And in Senegal, I was able to be that person. I was able to be who I truly was, dancing, laughing, just having a blast. I mean, it was amazing to be able to let your hair down and not care what people think of you, right? That's an amazing place to be in life. And I think we all deserve that. But I don't think we all have the opportunity to do that. So on this trip, I found space to relax. I found space to just laugh. I mean, I laughed so hard. I found space to dance. Y'all, if y'all know anything about me, y'all know I love to dance. I dance so much. I mean, we just had a blast. And it just reminded me of how essential it is to have environments and people around you where you can show up fully and freely and not be judged. Like that's all we want is to be able to show up as ourselves and not be judged, right? Um, Authenticity is freedom, and I do believe that we all deserve spaces like that where we don't have to perform, right? Pretend and just be who we are. I pray that for you, that you can find that space just to be who you are because there's so many other spaces where we have to put on these masks and hold in our thoughts because of whatever is going on in our environments, and I get that, right? But find a space where you can be truly authentic. Well, these are my sacred lessons from my heart to yours. I hope that they've inspired you to live life more fully, like it has inspired me to do so. And I hope that it may have also inspired you to want to go to Senegal or any African country because it is. I just think that there's nothing like it. I can give you my lessons and I can explain all these things and hopefully you can take something away from that. But it's going to be nothing like you stepping your foot on that sacred soil. So I'm hoping that you're able to do that. If you continue to need support, I'm always here. Go to drkiki.com and join us in Thrive Society, where I'm always there coaching, giving you motivation on a regular basis. And we're still in our 90-day challenge. 90-day career sprint right now, and we're sprinting to the end of this year, so hopefully you're making progress on your goals because the end of the year is approaching fast. All right, y'all, love you. Go out there and be sure to create your own happiness because you have the ability to do so. Peace.